Good morning, guys. How are you? I hope you're all okay. Right, so I've got a special inbox review for you this time. Now, I did want to do a new format with the new handheld camera and all that, but the bloody things decided to start working this morning already. So, as you can imagine, I am very, very impressed, to say the least. So, I'm having to use the new webcam, which is alright and it's okay for web, you know, like chatting and all that type of thing, but if I want to zoom in on intricate detail and that, it ain't going to happen. So I wanted to get this out to you because there's not many reviews of this kit and it's a special one. It's huge, as you can tell by the box. So this is now the third time I'm trying to record this, as the fucking thing fell off earlier again, so I'm just going to go ahead with the review and let's get it done. Right, it's 1/35th scale. It's the Mi-24V Hind helicopter. We all know it's like Russian. The main rotor diameter of the kit will be 494 millimeters, and that's the overall length. When the rotors are turning, they'll obviously spin out, which will make it to the 565 millimeters, and it's also got a wingspan of 187 millimeters. There's 468 pieces. There's photo etch parts, which are a windscreen wiper, seat belts and an antenna. Then you also get a bit of a film bit for the instrument panels. Okay, your kit number is 05103. That's 05103, and these are your options. Let me just get the first one. So the first one is basically the blue 04, which is the CIS Army, and that's the ILA Berlin Brandenburg 1992. And then is the second one, which is from the Tiger Meet. It's Tiger 0705. That's your Czech Air Force, a Klein Brigel EBBL, Belgium, August 1998. So, as you can see, the kit box is huge. The cartographed decals that you get, which are nice. I can't sort of show you that end of the box because it's too tall. So, on this side, you've got bump of the kit. So I don't know if you want to sort of, I don't know if it'll work for us, but let's try. There you go. If you want to zoom in and read that, or whatever your fancy things can do, mine can't. Right, so there, so that's that. Right, so let's start with the old instructions. So in fact, what we'll do is we'll start with the colour callouts. So you get a lovely piece of A3 paper. Is it A3 or A5? A3, and it's glossy, so it's nice. And then you get your colour callouts, and the colours are FS, so it must be Tamiya in this one. Oh, that's good. Right, so they're in Tamiya. That's a shock. Perhaps, I imagine I haven't reviewed many Trumpeter kits before, so they could all be in bloody Tamiya for all I know. Let's try the light on. Is that any better? Can you not see very well? Yeah, that's okay, isn't it? That'll do. So, is that better, guys, or do you reckon I should just turn it off completely? Turn it off completely, eh? Let's move that in a bit. Right. So, you get that one, which is the Brandenburg Army. And then you get a Czech Air Force one from the Tiger Meet. Both look quite menacing. There are plenty of aftermarket decals, because I've just had a quick look. There's plenty that you can get, so you know, I want to depict this in Syria, fairly modern, and it's going to be flying over the top of the Terminator, the main kit, I think, which would be quite menacing. And if you're foreign forces and you saw that coming, you'd fill your pants, really, wouldn't you, I think? Right, so there's that. So, the booklet, the instruction manual. So the instruction manual is printed that way for a change. all your bump on the front, you know, do's and don'ts and all that type of thing, and all your, you know, what to do. Don't sleep with it, don't feed it to your dog, don't snort it, don't mount it, whatever else. So there's all of your instructions. Let's just try and come down a little bit, eh? I apologise if it's shit, guys, but I generally can't do much about it. I did want to do a really good review for you, but I can't do much. So let's have a look from there. Right, so your first one is your parts. So it shows you all your parts and your trees of what you get. And then we come over to the start on the cockpit. As you can see, you're putting all your bits in. This is your photo etch seat belts and buckles and that, which is quite nice. I have got an aftermarket set from Edward, which I will add, I think, instead. I'm not sure. Pardon me, we'll see how it comes. So here's your pilot and navigator's seats. Then you come into the back area, which it's got like a troop area at the back. So it's almost like it's a flying IFV. So it's almost like it's a flying BMP or a Bradley or a Warrior. But it's armed heavier, I think. So then you've got your troop seats in the back. Then you come on to the instrument panel, which looks extremely detailed. There's your bit of film that we mentioned earlier that you put sort of through the back, so it gives it the glossy look. And of course you're filling in all more of the cockpit at the back here. Then of course you come on to the troop area. So in a way that's quite nice, because obviously you can sort of, let me see if the light will work better on this one now. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so obviously you can it's almost like a separate model, isn't it? So you can take it out, you can paint it, you can detail it, and then hopefully, let's have a look, we can then come along and add extra bits to it, as we're currently painting it. And then in comes the engines. So yeah, this bit here looks like, obviously with the troop compartment, it's going to be a separate model. So you could almost, like I always said, that if you want to start building a tank with perhaps an interior, full interior, each little section you could treat as a separate little model, I suppose, which, you know, then you're treating it, you're giving each part the attention that it deserves, I suppose. And then we come on to the engines, as we saw down the bottom there, and then we're coming on to the others. We're adding what looks like the fuel lines. Yeah, then we're adding sort of the lines to it and that, and I'm sure with it being sort of separate and not actually in the kit at the minute, I'm sure that you could super detail it and add the odd few bits of wires, which I have seen done. I'm not sure if Phil Flory did that on his, but I know he's built this kit. And then of course come on to adding them, and then of course you add them on top of the troop compartment at the back. Then we come on to the tailplanes, and then the ATG missile guidance antenna. Now these little bits here and the anti-tank missile guidance, optical guidance systems, you can actually buy aftermarket resin bits, but you know, I mean, I know they come separate, as you can see here, but I mean, attach them together, nice bit of extra thin down the neck of the join. Attach it together, squeeze it so it melts slightly, and then give it a good sand, and it looks like one part anyway. So that's not too bad. Then we come on to the wings, which we've got the struts underneath for the missiles and rockets and rocket launchers. Then we're coming on to all you have to add the decals as well, which is pretty good. It also tells you here, I don't know if you can actually see, but here it gives you of what it is, whether it's a check marking or the other one. Then we come on to the wheels. Now I think what I might do is with the wheels, because what really annoys me with aircraft this size, which this will be my first one I've built this size, but of 1/48 scale especially, they give you the wheels separate. You know, why can't they do them one full piece? And I don't mind them so much if they're separate, like the Lancaster ones, because you could have the option of one tyre with no grip on it. But then when they've got grips and stuff like this, it sort of, sometimes it can, you know, when you attach it and you glue it and you've got to sand out the seam, it sort of knackers up the grip. I mean, I'd like my wheels to look a bit worn, as they would do in real life, but you know, these sorts of more I know it's Russian, but more modern aircraft, especially in the US and the British RAF and that, keep their aircraft, you know, almost pristine condition. I know the Russians tend to, it's not so, you know, and it can be quite highly weathered, because that's why Russian aircraft are quite popular, because you can go to work on the weathering type stuff. But yeah, it's just a little nitpick of mine, I don't know, you know, other people aren't bothered, and yeah, it doesn't bother me all that much, because obviously, you know, we're modelers and we can do it and stuff, which again, you know, it's an extra little test. But I don't know, it just knocks me a little bit nowadays. And I mean, it's an expensive kit. I mean, I did buy this, I think I got this quite cheap actually. I got it for about £55, and I know quite cheap and it sounds expensive, but for this kit I think it retails about 80 quid, £85 over in Britain, in the UK. So 55 quid I got off, got it for, is, you know, cheap for what it should be really. Again, we come on to the nose assembly for the wheels. Let me just turn this light off again. That's probably better, isn't it? You haven't got the finger. Sorry guys. And then we've got the my favourite part of all, and it reminds me of the A10, the 4-barrel rotating gun assembly. Now again, you can definitely get a metal barrel for this, because I've seen it. We'll see how it looks on the kit part, or else otherwise I might get a metal barrel. And then we come on to the nose wheel cabin and installation, so it's all on one, and then obviously you'll just stick it into place. And then this is where we start adding it into the fuselages. We're adding all the bits of the canopy sort of glass, not canopy glass, the glass in the troop compartment at the back. You have to also make a few holes, which obviously you do on a lot of kits anyway. Then we come into more engine installation into the fuselages, and of course you've gun at the front. Then we do the cabin doors, the troop compartment doors, adding all the hinges and the glass onto that. And then this is where it starts really coming to earth, coming to look like the actual kit that it should look like, you know. The fuselage halves are now attached together. I mean, I think a lot of pre-painting will be done obviously first, because of obviously you've got the interior in here, and it's going to be very difficult to paint it if you don't paint it first before you attach the two fuselage halves. Why is my camera suddenly doing auto? Oh, there you go. So that's stopped now. That's okay. Yeah, so sorry guys, it was like bloody, well, I can't beat it, a bum 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 bloody thing. Right, so yeah, then you have the engine covers, which you can leave open, which is a nice little touch. Then you've got a lower door installation for the crew compartment. Then we come over here and we add the wings to the kit. Still doing the bloody heartbeat thing. What is wrong with that? I'll tell you what, let's pick it up a bit, see if that helps. I tell you what guys, this bloody... Oh, this inbox review is bloody cursed! Right, and then we come to the rear tail rotor. Then we come through to the old... Then we come on to the... You can't even see that now, can you? I tell you what, you know. When things aren't supposed to work, they don't work, do they? Anyway, you can't bloody see that now, can you? Because of the light out. better, isn't it? Right, okay, let's try that. So, you then got those, everything bits together. You've got the infrared jammer, the radio jammer, then you've got the de-icer system to put in for the engines and the blades, I suppose. Then you've got your picture of how to do it there and how to put them together, which again is just basically quite simple. And then you've got your tail bumper assembly, which is up here, and your canopy assembly with a couple of the blades for cooling system, I believe that is. Then you've got your ammo box assembly, and your pilot cockpit door assembly, and then your pitot tubes. And then of course, then we come under to all the undercarriage that we can do. Which we've got all these bits underneath, which are quite nice, and of course you add in your photo etch, and then you're coming on to the sort of tail bumper, and then your taxi light, which will be added on to the sides, your various bits of final bits of assembly where you've got your undercarriage wheels, because of course these undercarriage on this helicopter do actually go in. So it flies with no undercarriage underneath, which is good. And then we've got the main rotor assembly, and these are huge guys, absolutely massive, which you'll see in a minute. And then we're coming on to adding the cockpit. Now you can actually have the door open or you can have it closed, which is good. Then you've got the pilot's door separate. Again, you've got some more decals to add, and then you've got your little radar masts and all that type of thing to add. And then you come on to all the missiles and guns to add, and the missile rocket pods and everything, which are quite nice. Again, I know you can get aftermarket, which they all come, resin bits all come made up, which is pretty good. If you didn't want to faff around with all this. Then you've got your bombs and grenade launchers again, and your canopy pods, your cannon pods, sorry. And then at the back it gives you basically a guide of what a lot of aircraft things do, of which sort of rack on underneath the wings so you can house which bits of armour and stuff, you know, your what you call it, yeah, you've got, you know, your weapons and that. So right, after that was a great big tits up, let's have a look at some of the parts, eh? So I suppose with something this big, what do we want to try out? First, I would definitely say it's got to be, yep, the fuselage. So there is the size of the fuselage, so let's give it a bit of a comparison, okay? So let's use one of Braden's 1/72 tanks. So there's one of Braden's 1/72 tanks. As you can see, compared to the fuselage, it's huge. Okay, so let's then try the 1/35 German Stug. This was the Tamiya kit. Again, it's huge, as you can see. So we get the gist of how big that is. Excuse the arm coming across, guys. So it's got nice detail. It's got very, very good intricate lines and panel lines and that are in there. I don't know if the camera's going to zoom in all that well, but it's all very nice detail. You've got the floor markings, it's all the metal on the floor markings are all engraved as well, which is good. It's not really raised panel lining, so you can get a good wash into there, which is nice. The raised bumps are underneath where the seat will be, you know, the crew compartment seat, so that's nice. The door is pretty big, where the crew compartment's at the back. And then we've got the where this all sit onto the crew compartment goes there, and then this is your start of your cockpit, and you've got a nice few dials there, instrument panels there, which are quite nice. They all look very well detailed. I don't know if you can see all that well. So the thing with this webcam is it's got like a focus, and you've got to wait for it to bloody come in, like, you know. So I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll just get it, just try and get it just so. Right, I do apologise guys, it's because it's on the light, you see, so I've got to be careful with how it is. Yeah, so the details and the rivet lines are absolutely incredible, you know. They're a good sign, and they're not too deep as well, so you know you've got a good chance of getting a good wash in there. And that, the only issue I've got is the mould lines for the trees are actually on the actual fuselage, instead of like Takom are tending to do at the minute. They're on the inside, so you know all you got to do is basically just snip the inside off, and there's no markings on the exterior fuselage or the tank, excuse me. But obviously on this there isn't. This kit was actually made in 2004, and it's still the initial release. It hasn't been reboxed or anything like that, so you know, I'm sure somebody eventually will in the future, but they haven't at the minute. So let's have a look at, there's two of these sprues, so we'll just look at this, the one. This is part of your engine that's been made up, and also part of your engine that's been made up, and also your rocket launchers at the front. You've got bits of your tail rotor, and a couple of the other bits which are nice. Some of your small bits of detail, but again they all seem quite nice. The detail on it is incredible, really. I mean, I know it's 1/35th and you can actually do that, but you know, it is great detail. Don't know if it'll actually do that. Anyway, so that's that. Oh dear. Now this is the blades. Here are the blades, as you can see. They're very nice. Now these are raised panel lines on these blades, but they actually, if you look at the actual helicopter itself, you can see the actual lines raised on the propeller blades, so that's accurate. Here's some of the undercarriage struts, the wheels. There's a little bit of flash on the inside of there, so you're gonna have to be careful with your, you know, scalpel or whatever you're going to use. Perhaps a little sanding stick could get into there, but with the sort of nibs fit to go inside the wheels, again, it's not a massive problem if it comes off. You know, if you can always just, you know, if you're going to keep the model stood still, you could always just stick them in, attach the wheel inside and just glue it so it doesn't move. It's not a massive issue. But again, it looks pretty solid, and that is quite stiff actually. So you know, it's you're not going to have much trouble there. Again, there's not much other any extra bits on standing off, any more flash anywhere. Again, it's just the odd little bit on the edges which don't make them too crisp, but again, swipe with a sanding stick or your actual file, you know, you're sorted. It won't be too difficult at all. I keep going back to guys, we are modelers, but you know, here we have I believe these are the wings. So you've got the bottom part of the wing, so the two sections, so they go together like so, and you've got some of your, I believe these are some of the vents for the engine, the cooling vents, and then you've got your rear tail wings, your stabilizers. Now they're two obviously wings that go together again, they could have made that into two, into one, I suppose, but you know. Yeah, it all looks pretty well detailed. Again, they're not raised panel lines, they're all recessed, which is good. Pretty sharp as well, which is nice. And they're well spaced as well, so you know, if you did sand over any of them, you can just get yourself an RB Productions riveter or something and you sorted. Or is it the Trumpeter one? They do one, I think. So myself will do them at last. Oh dear, this is sprue H, so this will be part of the, I take it it's part of the undercarriage bay, and you've got the inside of one of the doors here, and here you've got the wheels. As you can see what I was on about, I don't know if you can pick that up, but the detail on it you've got is, you know, it's all recessed, but again you're going to have to stick them together and then get rid of the seam line, and then of course if you sand that, you've then got to sort of either stick a load of mud over the wheels so you can't see it and dust, or get your panel line engraver out and give it a good go on that. Again, it's not massive, but wheels can be a bit awkward, can't they, because you've got it, you know, you're going around a bend, and it's more of the suspension arms for the wheels. Again, just usual sprue, I suppose, typical wingy thing sprue. Aha, now more interesting, the cockpit. So this is sprue C. Right, so there's your gun, your machine gun, the start of the machine gun. It's not bad at all, but again it's not great. You've got the instrument panel for the, that's quite nice, that's really well detailed. See if you can get that with the machine gun. Can't really get that, can you, because I'm moving. Anyway, so it's well crisp and that, it's nice detail, but again, you know, some people will probably change that. I think I might stick with it actually, it's quite nice. You've got all the springs and everything around by the engine mount, which is nice. Here's more details for the you know, your instrument panels, which are very nicely detailed. Them are. It's a shame in a way that Edward asked you to sort of sand them off to put the, you know, the detailing bits in. There's one of the walls of the cockpit with the details on. That's lovely as well, the instrument panel. Here's your cockpit stick, your joystick, or whatever you call it, whatever they want to call it. It's quite nice actually. You can actually see the grip that's on it. I don't think you'll pick that up on there, but they have actually got the grip on there. No, you can't really see it. But again, it's quite nice detail. One thing I'm not seeing, which is pretty good, is injector pin marks anywhere where it's a pain in the ass so far. There's lots on the inside of them, but again, you know, that's the inside stuff, they're going to get stuck together inside of the seat. There's your cushion detail, which is quite nice. Yeah, it's alright. Perhaps with the frame, that's the frame for the crew compartment, so perhaps potentially change that and add, perhaps do it with some copper wire and something, so you could add a couple of dents in it. So, you know, I don't know, I've never actually been in a proper Hind, so I couldn't tell you if it's good solid metal in there or not. I would particularly say it is, because I do know that I've seen specs nats in Special Forces do jumps out of these, where they'll do like an abseil out of them, and they actually attach the abseil wire and cables to them. So I would say that they're pretty solid, to be honest. And when we've done things like that out of Lynxes and that on exercises and on you know, training and that, on the Lynxes there's bits on the actual floor where you connect them into, and then you feed the wire, you know, the rope through, and you just go. And yeah, by the by, there's part of the troop, sort of the the parting part in between the two seats, benches on the crew compartment. There's part of your radar, which is just basically a nice smooth ball. There's that part. Then we come on to the main control panel, instrument panel, which looks quite nice, very nice indeed. You've got your crew compartment doors with the hinges, which are quite nice. There's the hinge for the cockpit to keep the cockpit glass and door open. The door is very nice. The rivet detail on that is really, really nice. You won't probably pick it up on camera, but that's really nice. Oh yeah, I'm going to look forward to making this actually. I was a bit sort of nervous about doing it, but the more I look on it and the more aircraft I do, the more I tend to feel a bit more confident with doing it. There are bits of flash on these smaller parts as well, I've noticed, so you have got to be very careful when you're doing it, because the smaller the parts are, obviously the thinner the plastic is, and the weaker the plastic is, so you have to be careful. Here's some of the ammunition boxes, which are quite nice. They are really nice actually. They're smooth and quite good. Here's some of your radar masks, which again are nice. Perhaps some aftermarket resin ones would do, because you have got seam lines down the backs of each one of them, and the more you sort of scrape off with your X-Acto knife or your sanding stick, obviously the weaker it's going to get, and the detail you're going to lose with it being so small. But perhaps what I would do is just run your X-Acto knife around it and just do it that way, perhaps. I don't know, I'm not a professional, so I couldn't tell you, but that's my way of doing it. Yeah, so there's that. And then we've got your missiles and bombs. So this is sprue and letter, oh hang on, J. So we've got two J's, as you can see, two J's, J and J. Right, so these are your bombs and your cluster bombs and your missiles and that, all well detailed. Some have got recessed panel lines on, some haven't, but the majority of them are all recessed. That's really nice. Not much flash on these neither. There is on some of the seam lines, mind. I think what I'd definitely do is, with me doing this type of kit, with it being so expensive, I think I'd perhaps be willing to spend a bit more money on some aftermarket to get these things up to scratch and make them look good. Especially considering I'm not the greatest of wingy thing aircraft modelers. So, you know, to perhaps get a kit this expensive up to scratch, I perhaps would be willing to spend a bit more money. I don't know, it all depends on what your budget is, and if you want to spend more money on your something that's expensive already, so I don't know. Right, so this is sprue J again. Oh, we've got two more J's. But these were different, weren't they? That's my tummy, by the way. Right, yeah, we've got two different J's. You've got some of the missile and rocket pod launchers here, which are very nice. They're quite well done, that you could actually get a drill piece in there to drill the actual holes out, so it looks even better. I mean, the main parts are there. You've also got another gun barrel there, which is nice. Again, there's a bit of flash here and there, but nothing that's going to worry you, you know. It's modelers. And then you get a little box like so, and this is quite a nice little touch. I love this with Trumpeter and Hobby Boss kits. They always, with the bigger scales, they always put stuff like this in here, which you know, saves the plastic, which is nice. Now this is the cockpit glass, the canopy. So again, the riveting detail on it is very nice. It's well done. Let's give you and there's the actual canopy of the glass. There's a few scuffs on that actually. Damn. Oh great, and there's a huge great seam mark going through there, so that's definitely going to have to be a bit of toothpaste trick, you know, scrub it off and then file it off and then do the old toothpaste trick or some polishing compound. Very nice though. That part's very thin, which is supposed to be the frame. You've got a bit of flash around the top, but again, nothing bad. You can get rid of that quite easily. So that's them. I'm just going to stick them back in. Stick that back in, guys. I apologise, but I just don't really want to ruin it. And then you've got your, this is your control panel, which you've got here, which will go over the control panel. Then you'll have your piece of film, which I'll show you in a minute, which will go in between that. Here's your glass for your troop compartments, and then your door, I believe that is, again scuffed on the side. I would give it a dip in the old what's it method, the future method, but it's like I hear, I know people have done it for years, but at the end of the day, to me, it's floor polish, and I know how crap I can be at times and dipsy, and I just know I'll balls it up, so I ain't doing it. So there's a seam line on the door there, which is a shame, so you're gonna have to get that out as well. But there's another control panel there, instrument panel there, and then you've got your target, your sort of targeter there, which is quite nice, a bit like the old Second World War Spitfires have got. They're quite nice, so that's not too bad. Again, just downside this day and age, surely they can do kits without seam lines down the cockpit, Right, so then you come into your photo etch and your bit of film. So let's put the film on there. That's your instrument panel. Which isn't too bad, it's not too bad, you get two. It's like a plastic film, which is nice. And then we've got, finally, oh no we haven't, sorry, we've got the photo etch, which, let's turn that off because it'll bounce off the thing. There's your photo etch. You've got a couple of vents, and then you've got your windscreen wipers, which are very nice, fan, vent, and then you've got your buckles for your seat belts, and then there's your seat belts in between, which are alright, they're a bit naff actually. Perhaps they're absolutely brilliant, but to me they're a bit naff. It's a 2004 kit, but the photo etch says 2003 on there, so don't know. Obviously that's when that was made. Right, so that's that. I'm not particularly impressed with that photo etch, to be honest. So that's that. And then finally we come on to the decals, which are by, did we say they were by, what are they called now? Cartograph. Tell you what, can you tell how professional I am at doing these kit reviews? You wouldn't have anybody else, would you? Jesus wept, tell you what. If I was doing it, if I was looking after it before a review of a kit, I certainly wouldn't be checking me out. I would have turned me off already. Bloody Calamity Jane. Right. In fact, she'd probably do a better bloody thing than me. There's your decals. They are Cartograph. They look very nice. They're not too thick, which is quite nice. The only Trumpeter kit, let me just have a think. Yeah, the only Trumpeter decals I've used are on the BMP that I did for the Bosnia build that I didn't finish off. I have built the Flanker G, which is the Hobby Boss kit in 148, which I know the same company, but I think they were actually Hobby Boss decals, they weren't Cartograph. And they went on fine. I know that I've built a couple of Trumpeter figures which are total shite. They're very well detailed, but a pain in the ass to put together. When I do the video with the stash, you'll also see that I've got a few more boxes of figures for Trumpeter, and I'm not looking forward to putting them together. But yeah, they all look okay to me, I mean, you can't really say, can you, till you put them on. I mean, they might look amazing, and you stick them in the water and they separate, or you stick your your set and so on, or you know, whatever you use, and they just obliterate. So I don't know. So there you go. So that's the decals for the kit, and that is basically it for the review of the plastic and everything that's in there. So let's just, before we finish, let's just stick this back up so we can have a look at the box once more. So in a way, you get quite a bit of plastic, don't you, for what it is. At the minute, this kit in Britain is, Model Hobbies have got it in for £86.37. Now that's where I originally got it from, but it was, I think must have got it in a cheap sale, because I know Model Hobbies now and again reduce the prices for a couple of days and then they put them back up again just to get rid of things. And then E-Models, it's £71.99, but that's out of stock at the minute. In Germany it retails around the €83, 83.32 euros. There's one in Germany for 87, 88 euros. The Australian dollar, it's 139 Australian dollars, 50 cents, is it, or whatever they say, I don't know, not very good on currency. Poland, it's 330, I don't know what's that, is it ZF? I told you I'm terrible. So that's that. There's a guy in Britain, there's a guy in Britain that's selling this is all on the scale mates, and at the bottom, you know, where you get the information about the kit, and then at the bottom you've got the trade and swap, and somebody's selling it for £90. Oh, there are quite a few reviews, but there's no video reviews, so that's not too bad. So mine might go down in history as, mine might go in a bloopers one, perhaps, you never know. You can get wheels, which is good. I'm looking down. You can get a gun barrel. You can get basically everything. You can get cockpits and cargo compartments, which is Verlinden. Whether or not, I mean, obviously you'll still be able to get it, but it's where you'll find that. So yeah, you can get loads of different decals, masks, books, the lot. So I'll obviously go and get a book before I do this, because you know me and books. And there's a few galleries as well of people that have done it. There's also a big head set, which they do. Well, I've actually got at the minute, my aftermarket are that, which is the interior bits, the photo etch, which look quite nice, and you've got your seat belts, which are coloured as well. And then I've got the mask set, because I'm awful at masking, so even a Spitfire I get the mask set for, because I'm crap at masking. Right guys, so basically that's the worst review you'll ever see in your life, but it's done now. Thanks for watching, and thanks for sticking with me if you stuck all the way through it. I apologise for the poor quality, but I've had to use my camera, my webcam, so I apologise about that. Right guys, so that's the review of the Trumpeter Hind in 1/35 scale. Hope you're well, hope you'll stay safe, and may the force be with you. Bye.